Good morning from Oldenburg Vineyards. It's a really unusual day today. It's dead calm. There's not a breath of air, and that is unusual because there's normally quite a lot of air movement. Today I wanted to actually talk about the wind, which is one of the elements, the 8 elements that really impact our little part of the world. And go around some of the vineyards because we've actually tailored the style of viticulture to deal with the wind, and that's it's good to see because some of these vineyards are coming online. They're going to produce their first crop this year. Some are coming back from being taken out of production. We'll look at that. We're actually going to drive up over Rondekop, which will be always an adventure for me because I don't do it that often in the Polaris, and it's I'm not the best Polaris driver. But we'll see. And I think it's just we're standing down by the river that runs down one side of Oldenburg, but it's just looking at the Rondekop. It's such a nice view, and you can see just all these different plantings from afar. So it's let's go on a little magical mystery tour of Rondekop. So we're just next to it's a Chardonnay block. It's on Echelay, which is, each vine has its own pole. And there are two reasons we did this. It's one of them is the wind. You get this wind that whistles through here. And it's great because it comes over the mountains and high altitude wind and then drops down from 1,500 meters and really cools us down. But when they turn the fan up to 7 or 8 or whatever it is, the vines have to deal with it. So this on the pole really helps them, and we're going to show you afterwards, after this, a block of Syrah on the other side of the hill, which has just been planted, and it's going to be Echelay as well. And but the exciting thing about the Chardonnay here is it's going in for its first harvest. Last year there's some small bunches of grapes, but they were cut off, so the vine was focused. That we wanted to focus the vine on really just getting its shape right and its growth right. And now you've got these vines which are already at the top of the pole. It's only October, so they've got a bit of growing. So there's definitely going to be some tipping action going on there. But this is what they look like, and the bunch zone will be sort of just about a quarter of the way up, a fifth of the way up the pole. So there's some little bunches in there starting their life, ready for harvest in 5 months. Let's keep going. So look at this block. This is really exciting. I know a lot of you guys out there loved our Viognier, and this was the Viognier vineyard, but it just got hammered by the wind. It was planted the wrong way originally, and the wind just kept hitting it, and the vines couldn't grow properly. So unfortunately we had to remove the Viognier, but all our sort of homework led us to believe that Syrah could add an extremely interesting element to the stone axe Syrah. And basically what we've got here is this has just been planted this winter. It is Echelay again, Syrah plantings, but it's also high density. So each vine has their own pole. So this is the really in the eye of the wind. When the wind blows and you walk around the south side of the farm and the wind's blowing, you could almost feel like you're about to get blown off your feet when it's really pumping. So the vines are going to have their own pole for security. High density, because this soil has great moisture. It's a cooler site. We're really excited by this. We're going to have to wait though, but patience is a good thing.
And it's just getting the balance as well, but that's why you'll see the Merlot block as well.
Christoph, we've just driven around the farm looking at all the new blocks. It's looking absolutely fantastic. So well done on really sorting out some new plantings, and we're now in the Chardonnay block by the tasting room, and that was the challenge, right?
Yes, quite a big challenge with this, but I think that, as you can see, the block knot is looking quite amazing.
I see behind me you've left something. Is this? Do you want to write your name on it? I mean,
I put it down for a stool for me for a glass of wine in the beginning.
that's a very good idea. I like that actually. It's our Chardonnay block tasting room.
Yes, look over the vineyards. Now we're gonna because for the first 3 years we don't try to drive in the vineyards because of compaction. So we already started. So all the big stones within the working row, we're going to move to the side where the vines is, and that helps with the erosion as well with the water coming down, and it helps with this with the weed control. So it's almost like a mulching with stones. So the big one like this we'll still bring in the little small excavator just to remove it, because it's going to be a little bit big to take to the side.
Oh, I think we have to have a glass of wine. It's got a nice flat top. We can have maybe our first Chardonnay when we. And actually, just looking behind us is the that was planted 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, three years ago. Yes.
So that's starting to really come along nicely now, which is great.
We're going to take our first crop as well of this year, and it's looking amazing. So the crop was quite big, so we reduced the crop a little bit just to bring the block into balance. But I think that the growth, equalness, it's amazing in the block.
Yeah, and we drove over to the south side to look at that the new Syrah block. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, it's an feat of engineering.
Yeah, it's about 8,500 vines per hectare, so it's quite high density planting, and we're going to start to shape it as well this week. Already start to shape the HLA shape on it.
Okay. So. I thought it was 6,000, so 8,000. So it's super high density planting.
Super high density.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's no working rows, so we're not going to use any tractors in that block. We're only going to use manual labor, spraying with backpacks. Like that, so no only feet in the vineyard and no tracks.
Oh, that's great. That's also a nice thing, no compaction. So but no, on a beautiful spring day in Oldenburg, I think we've got to go and find Nic and a glass of wine, right?
Yeah.
Nic, we're going to be pouring the CL Red 2021 vintage, 54% Merlot, 39% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 7% Cabernet Franc. So here we go.
Well, while you're doing that, George, I think from all of us, a big congrats on your second place in the Sommelier Awards. Absolutely.
Quite chuffed.
Yeah, I bet you were. Yeah.
So another thing we're celebrating is the launch of the new CL Red. So the 2021 vintage, quite a cool vintage, and it's a wine that's Merlot dominant this year.
Okay.
So the Merlot is showing a lot of that lovely black fruit character, and then some Cabernet Sauvignon, and then a little dash of 7% Cabernet Franc that we put in. So the first time a bit of Cabernet Franc in the CL. So now we've got a Cab Franc based blend being the Rhodium, and a Merlot based blend being the CL Red. So everything aged in French oak barrels, lovely fruit character on the wine. Wine was in oak for about 16 months. And then, we serve it out these little stemless riedels. I mean, these are quite handy when you go on a picnic or you
take the riedels on a picnic. That's good.
I do.
That's impressive. Well done, Nic. This is great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cheers.
So we'll
Cheers.
be releasing this in the next few days in the tasting room.
Okay,
So
great.
No, fantastic.